Welcome back to Rumor Society. On this channel, we share our opinions on social media stories and headline news. Now let's get into today's story. In today's video, we'll be reacting to a story time. This lady is getting ready to tell a story about how she had an inappropriate relationship with her high school teacher. Let's get into the video.
Okay, this is a story. I didn't think I'd be nervous, but I just started making a list and it made me really nervous remembering all these things. So I'm going to tell a story about how I had an inappropriate relationship with one of my high school teachers. Like, I am nervous. So for context, I grew up in a cult. I was a very sad 17-year-old who grossly loved male validation. Too much. So I had this teacher my junior year, and I knew he had aides that were seniors, and he was like that cool teacher that let their aides just like leave if he wanted to. Like, they didn't even need to show up. So I'm like, hell yeah. Like, I asked him my junior year, I was like, hey, I want an aide for you. Like, will you please like recommend, like, can you like put my name down? He did, and I became his aide senior year. So, his last name does start with a Z, so I'm going to refer to him as Z, which people in high school, if anybody in high school, which I really hope they don't, if anybody from my high school sees this, they're going to know exactly who I'm talking about. Like, people knew I was close to this teacher. That was not a secret. Like, it was very obvious how close him and I got. And with another student, we'd be like, oh, like, he's so good looking. Looking back on it, no, he wasn't. But anyways, for a very long time, and honestly, a little bit a part of me now, I feel like he saved my life. And I know what you guys are going to say. Like I said, I was really sad 17-year-old that my home life was not good for me. And a lot of the times this was going down, my other siblings were not around. Like, when they tell you like each sibling has a different childhood, that freaks me out. As a mom of 3, that freaks me out. I want all 3 of them to have the same exact good experience, you know? So, okay, so again, the list. This is everything that I can remember that happened. He would let me give him back massages. I was like the massager of my family, so like, again, with the male validation, I'm like, I'm really good at it, and he let me do it. I was known, like, if you went, I'm going to be reading things out of my yearbook as well. He wrote a huge long, like the longest, no, not even any of my friends wrote the long. And then on another page, he had another thing he wrote too, and I will be reading that later. This is probably going to be part 1. So I was known for these red spandex shorts I wore in weights class. Like, my ass was nice, but these were short, tight, obviously spandex red shorts. Like, there are men in my yearbook all over it talking about those red shorts. I would leave weights and go to his classroom all the time because, again, I'm like thinking I'm some hot shit. And yeah.
You wanted him to see you in your shorts? Okay.
One day I was complaining about my hips, and he has me lay on, so he was an anatomy teacher, so, you know, like those long desks, like when we were doing like you know, we did cats. So he had me lay down, and I was in these spandex shorts with my gym clothes on, and he turned into a chiropractor and worked on me.
Wow.
I used to take his personal truck and pick up motorcycle parts a few miles away. I did this on multiple occasions.
Inappropriate.
We would text back and forth. He mentions that in the passage in my yearbook, which I will be reading, about like how I taught him how to text. And yeah, okay, this is a story. So my ADHD ass, which I didn't know it at the time, but makes lots of sense now. I left my cell phone in the bathroom, and I ran back, maybe 5-ish minutes left, because you know when you don't have your phone, and it was gone. And I tell Z this, and I'm distraught because my fucking cell phone is gone. And I tell him, and I leave. I go to my other class, or yeah. So later that day, I go and see him again, and he hands me my cell phone. And I'm like, what the fuck? He said, I texted your phone, and I don't remember how much money. I think it was between $40 and $60. And he said, no questions asked, come to my classroom, I'll give you money for the cell phone. And this bitch did. This bitch fucking did it. Went to a teacher, traded money for my cell phone, and he did what he said. No questions asked, let her go, whatever. I say, what's this girl's name? Like, I wanted to know. I'm gonna get his fucking money back. Like, screw this fucking girl. He wasn't going to, because he was like, let's just cut it, like, whatever, it happened. But I did. I tracked that girl down, pulled her out of the classroom, and demanded the money back, and I did get it back. So yeah, he did stuff like that for me. Me telling like this story years later to my husband, he's like, this is grooming. Like, he was grooming you. And I'm like, what? Like, again, when I tell you for years, so I graduated in 2009, that he saved my life. Like, he was my friend, my confidant. I told him everything. After high school, he got me a job with his daughter. I almost moved into a rental he had.
Wow.
Because I was moving out as quick as I could after I graduated. I went back to see him because I saw, when I was a junior, I saw seniors that had just graduated would come and say hi. Like, he was a very popular teacher. And we were close. So of course I went to see him after I graduated. But while I was, being his aide, senior year, a girl came in from the previous senior class, and you could tell I did a play with her, so I knew who she was, and you could tell she visibly gained a little bit of weight. And after she left, after saying hi to him, he looks over at me, he's like, don't gain the freshman 15. Thank you for the eating disorder. He would talk about his non-existent life. Again, I grew up in cult, so none of this was red flag to me. I was like, oh, he's telling me things, about his personal life. Oh my God. He told me he liked me in blue. I told him I liked him wearing black. I feel so gross right now. He showed up for my graduation specifically for me. And he told me this. He said, I never go to the high school graduations, but I'm here for you. And he was wearing black, and he pointed that out.
Wow.
That's all I remember outside of what I'm about to read you. But I think I'm going to do a part 2. So I'll see you in part 2 when I read what he wrote in my yearbook. And I'll probably read some other things as well, just to kind of maybe give context. So
I can see what her husband is referring to as grooming. I'm not sure why she didn't see it that way. I guess in her mind, this older gentleman is taking an interest in me. He's complimenting me. He likes me in blue. All those nice things. Obviously, she didn't see it that way as a kid, but even with her husband telling her, she was like, oh, really? Like, she still didn't see it. All right, y'all, so we're going to get into her part 2.
Part 2 of how I had an inappropriate relationship with one of my high school teachers. This is my high school yearbook. I'm going to read
You still kept yours?
what he wrote me. And he had this for most of the day when he was writing it. So, it's literally the whole page.
Wow.
So buckle up. Shaylee Janae. Okay, where do I start? First, I really want to thank you for everything you have done for me this year. All the typing, grade entering, errands to RMS. This was the place I picked up the parts for his motorcycle. But most of all, for just being there with me. You have really made this an awesome, fun year for me. I can't thank you enough for all the laughs, inside jokes we shared, and isn't the greatest and it's the great conversations we had. We really connected, exclamation mark, exclamation mark, exclamation mark. I'm still kind of freaked out about when you just pulled up my middle name out of nowhere and then I blurted out yours. Whoa. Yeah, this is true. Like, I guessed his middle name and without any context of the first letter. Yeah, it was a thing. It was a thing. Anyways. Wow, where did that come from? It was just so easy to talk to you. Okay, I'm starting to get a little emotional, and BAs aren't supposed to do that. He means badass. Another word we used to say. Okay. Thanks for teaching me the finer points of texting. I'm not as addicted as you, but at least now I could call myself semi-functional. I'm rambling, sorry. It's just that I have so much to say and only a part of the page left to say it. Here it goes. Still fucking shaking. Shaylee, you're a smart, determined, hardworking girl. Follow your dreams, make what you want in life happen. I know you can do whatever you want. Be patient, don't let that stubbornness get in the way of your goals. I want you to know that you can count on me for anything. Please don't hesitate to ask. Stay happy, have fun, be safe out there. You have an open invitation to wakeboarding anytime. I never went, but he had mentioned that a few times. I'm really going to miss you. 2 exclamation points. Thanks again for everything. Good luck. Love, Z. You can ask me any questions you would like in the comments. Here is...
I'm gonna pause her. The tone of the message, it doesn't sound like an adult speaking to someone that's underage. It kind of comes off as their peers, not that he's the adult and she's a teenager at this point. I didn't hear anything that was like blatant sexual. I didn't, but I feel like a lot of his words, some undertone there, just a little bit. Putting the exclamation points about how much he's gonna miss her, and ending the letter with love, not best regards, best of luck, nothing like that. Love, so and so. Yeah, that's inappropriate. Her comments are a bit mixed. You have some people saying that they don't see that what the teacher wrote was wrong, and I don't get that. I know everyone doesn't listen, for the same things, right? Because everybody have different life experiences, trauma, so we're not going to hear the same thing. Y'all think this is appropriate? That's sad. This person says, honestly, I'm not seeing anything crazy inappropriate here so far. So let's see what part 3 says. Also, I reject the idea that teachers can't be your friends. I have many teachers I was actually friends with in high school and continue to be friends with as adults. Girl, we're going to have to agree to disagree. How can you be friends with your teacher? I don't get that. Like, y'all should not have anything in common. Y'all are not on the same level. So how are you friends and hanging out with a teacher? And how do you not see anything wrong with this message? Why would the teacher be texting her? Why would he be giving her a spinal alignment on the classroom desk? That's hella inappropriate. What do you mean? And then my thing is, whoever this commenter is, what if this was your child? You would want an adult to be texting your child and trying to align her hips and her spine at school? Be very for real, y'all.
The second thing he wrote, because I don't remember, like, he got my yearbook, like, the next day and said he wanted to write again. And it's just, like, this long. It's not as long as the first one. BA, girl, you rock. Never lose that rebel attitude. Knock the Mormon church, that's the cult I grew up in, off its foundation. Go out there, take what you want, and don't look back. Most of all, stay happy and have fun. And then he starred, like, asterisked it, and he said, keep hitting and running, Z. Now, that is something I forgot till I just read that. That was not on my list. So,
that one
if I am remembering this right, and I believe I am, he used to say that a lot, like in text, keep hitting and running, or so pretty much, like, I would stop by for a short period of time and then, like, leave. And oftentimes I was in those red shorts and he called it, like, a hit and run. So that's why I said keep hitting and running.
Oh, I get it. I get it now.
Like I said, it was not a secret how close we were. There is another page in here. I think it's this way. That is also pretty large that a girl wrote. Pretty much says, like, in bold, Z is so hot. Like, it was something like we talked about. Like, it was not like I said, people knew. A lot of people knew how close we are. But obviously, if anybody from my high school is seeing this, they didn't know that. They didn't know part one. Then, I mean, I kept that to myself. I know at some point there was a discussion, I think, with my mom, but...
Really?
No, but like I said in part one, I believed for a very, very long time he saved my life.
I'm wondering if any of the school administrators, other teachers, if they were aware as well. I refuse to believe he was only having inappropriate conversations, text message, whatever you have it, with just her. A man like this, no. He probably had other young girls that he was grooming. She probably just thought she was the only one. Let's continue.
He was someone there I could trust and have just tell. Like I said, I told him everything that was going on in my life. Everything. And, yeah, so again, if you have any questions or, yeah, but I said it in part one that the reason why I'm telling this story now is because maybe there's another sad girl out there that has her blinders on that needs to be like, this is inappropriate. Like, teachers are not supposed to be your friends. They're supposed to be there to keep you safe and educate you. I have been wanting to tell the story for a really long time. I know my friends on the internet we've talked about it on my lives before, and I said I would make a story time, and I never did. So here I am, being brave with my story. And again, I hope this at least helps one sad little girl out there, or if not, hopefully more, that it's just not appropriate to be friends with a teacher.
The last one was actually the last video that I saw about the story time. In the other videos that she had, she read more letters from other teachers, just basically showing the difference between what other teachers were leaving and then what Mr. Z was leaving. She also has a bunch of videos addressing certain comments, but this one in particular, I think this is the one I read that were saying that they didn't see anything that was wrong with the message. So this is just her response to that. So let's take a listen.
The outpouring of support from my video yesterday from women, beautiful. There are some comments like this one, and I really feel like if like we had to have for my story to matter or for it to be like bad enough. I'm kind of just assuming this is a man. I'm happy for you that you have teachers that are friends. I'm not too sure if you saw part one, but this teacher that had an inappropriate relationship with me, he talked about his sex life to me, the lack thereof of his life with a 17-year-old.
Inappropriate.
And what that does to a woman in my situation, in my brain, and I wanted to please. So me hearing that from somebody like I did find attractive, you know, I was like, oh, I would never do that if I was married. I would be all over my husband. Like, I think some people might, like, majority of the response, oh my gosh, but just a few. So I just want to be like, just because it wasn't that bad doesn't mean that it wasn't highly inappropriate. I considered him a close friend. I told him everything. I told him things that I was doing with kids my age. Like, it was highly inappropriate. And, you know, just, I have other comments that asked if things got sexual between us, but he did touch me, compliment me. We went out to dinner after I graduated, and I was still 17. I did not turn 18 for a few months after I graduated. So I don't think I need to do a part 3. I think I said what I needed to say, and yeah, I don't believe that teachers should be friends with students. I know it happens all the time, but it's kind of like, you know, protect one, protect all kind of thing. So I don't think that just because you had a good experience doesn't mean there are countless, countless, countless other women and men, I'm sorry, boys and girls who have had a similar situation, if not worse. Okay, so that's what I have to say. I hope you have a good day. Bye.
And she's right. They didn't have to have had um, sexual relations for it to be inappropriate. It was not appropriate for him to be talking to a 17-year-old about his lack of sex life. That's not appropriate. And I saw in the comments someone asked, was he married? And she said, yes, he was. I'm pretty sure his wife would not have been okay with him going to dinner with one of his former students who's 17 years old. I'm pretty sure his wife would not be okay that he's sending text messages with his students and, confiding personal information to them. That's completely inappropriate. And like I said, I don't think she's the first or the last student that he's probably had interactions like that with. Who knows how long this man has been teaching? Who knows how many vulnerable 17, 16-year-olds that came across his path? You never know. Just because nothing physical happened, he was basically about to cross that line. I'm curious to know your thoughts and opinions. Do you think it's okay for teachers to be friends with their students? You want to be approachable, right? Like, you want to be able to build those connections. There definitely needs to be some type of boundary set to prevent situations like this. She explained in her part 1 that after gym, she went to his classroom and was complaining about her hip. He laid her across the desk. What if another student, a teacher, what if somebody had walked in on him touching her? That's why it's important to set clear boundaries. Don't hang out with students outside of school. Don't hang out with them in your classroom with the door closed. Anyways, guys, leave your thoughts below. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you in the next video.